8A. I'm going to start from the two dots. It's most of the way down the middle, the thin lines that are on the top of the page. It's about 5 lines up from the first set of wide lines. It's a Shmuel.
Yeah, Shmuel Vakarna, right?
Shmuel Vakarna. Do this. Second. Oops. Okay. Shmuel Vakarna Habiyasvi Aguda Dinara. I'm sorry, Aguda Dinar Malka. Shmuel and Karna are sitting on the edge of the Malka River. They're in Bavel. Chazin Lamaya de Kadolova Akira, they notice the water is rising up, the tide, and it's dark. It's like cloudy. Amalei Shmuel Karna, so Shmuel says, Karna is his friend. There's a great man that's coming from the west, which means from Eretz Yisrael. That's the west for Bavel. And he has an upset stomach. And the water is rising to greet him. Ziltoile akankane. It means go check out his skull. Check out what he's all about. Check out his jug. See if he's really a Talmud Chacham. So, Rav. Now, you see, in Bavel, there were sages in Bavel already before Rav came. Rav was from Bavel. He went to Eretz Yisrael to study with Rabbi Nasi. He went together with his uncle, Rabbi. And the Gemara Sanhedrin, he gets his smicha in almost everything except for Mater B'chairos, he doesn't get. But now he's coming back to Bavel. I think that's what's happening here. And Shmuel and Karna are already in Bavel. There was also Reb Shela was also there in Bavel before Rav came. And this is a newcomer. So Azalash Kchela Rav. Karna goes, he finds Rav. And Amalei Minayin Shin Kaisin Tilan Elal Gabi or Behimater. So he asks him a question to see what he's all about. The question that he chose to ask was, from where do we know that tefillin need to be written on skin from a kosher animal, on the hide of a kosher animal? It says in that section about where it says about tefillin, it says so that the law of Hashem should be in your mouth. And what it means is, you have to put the law of Hashem, the scrolls of the tefillin, need to be on something that you would have been allowed to eat. It's a kosher animal. Okay, he gave an answer. How do you know, when we're talking about the nida blood, we said that there were different shades. How do you know that the shade that's considered tameh is red? There was this story, and it was this in Malachim, that they saw the water coming down and it looked like it was red with blood. Okay, so you see that the blood is red. How do you know that the circumcision is in that area? Maybe something else is supposed to be circumcised. So he says, this is an interesting question. It says, Arla, or I should have to be specific here. It says over here, Arla Sai, and it says by the plants, by the trees, it says Arla Sai. Just like the trees give fruit, also the Arla is taken from a place that procreates. Maybe it means that the heart, we have a pasuk that says that you will circumcise the foreskin of your heart. Maybe it means the ear. The ears were stuffed up. So the Gemara says, or maybe Rav is saying, Danin Arlasei Tama me Arlasei Tama. you take the complete word arlasai from the complete word arlasai. Vein done in arlasai tama me arlas sheina tama. And not from, you don't take it from arlas, which is not the complete arlasai. Now, the expression here is not exactly the way the Gemara normally does it. It just says, done in arlasai me arlasai, vein done in arlasai me arlas. But it throws in this tama, complete, which may mean that what we're talking about, first of all, completion, tamim, tamim meant that his bris was perfect. He didn't defile his bris. But here what it would mean is that it doesn't make a mum, possibly. Over here, he doesn't become a bal mum if you take a piece of that area, as opposed to if you take off the heart, it becomes a bal mum. If you take off his ear, also becomes a bal mum. Amrlai, so after being examined, so he says, Amrlai, my shimcha, what's your name? He says, Karna. My name's Karna. Says Hashem should make a horn grow out of your eyes. Now that could mean a krum, like a cataract, that should grow over his eye. It's some sort of curse. Why was he so tough about this? Rashi says he understood that it was just coming to trick him, to test him, just coming to test him. These questions were not real questions. He was just coming to test him. Okay, l'seif Eily Shmuel Basi. Shmuel allows him to come into his house. Not allows him, he invites him into his house. Uchli nama deshar, he gives him barley bread. The kisa daharsana is, I think it's some sort of fish. And ashki shechre gives him some beer. V'le'achveli besikisi, but he doesn't show him to the bathroom. Now, all of these things would make him need the bathroom. And why did he do that? Well, we said before that he had an upset stomach, probably from the travel, he came by boat, maybe. That's what it seemed like, that he was coming by boat. So he doesn't show him to the bathroom, so that his stomach should empty itself out when he does go to the bathroom. I guess to get rid of whatever was in him, he doesn't go to the bathroom at the beginning, and then it's just everything will get cleaned out. But because of the suffering, you see, Shmuel was a doctor. He knew what was good for Rav to heal, but he also put him through suffering. So, Layat Rav cursed him, V'amar manda mitzarin, the one that puts me through pain, lo'iluk melei b'nei, should not have children. Shmuel didn't have children. We know about Shmuel's daughters. Captive, all of that, Rami bar Rachel, Yisser. This time, that's funny. Okay.
If he gave him pain before the cure, that means he probably sent the bill before treatment.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to see who's the author in that Gemara. The Gemara does say Asya b'magin shavya, that a free doctor is worth nothing. So I wonder if Shmuel said that. That would be really interesting. Okay. Now it says Kitanai. There's a machlekes Tanaim. How do you know that the bris is done on the male organ? Over here it says arlasai, his arla. It says over there his arla. So like we explained, just like by the fruits, by the 3 years of the tree, it's considered arla. So too, this is referring to something that procreates. Divrei Rabbi Yeshua, that's Rabbi Yeshua. Reb Nassan Aimer, this is very interesting to me, because Rabbi Yeshua always argues with Rabbi Yonasan. And now it's Reb Nassan. And I saw one of the historians writing that Rabbi Yonasan is really Reb Nassan and Yonasan. And now I'm seeing this, Reb Nassan, and it gives some credence to that theory. Okay. You don't need that. It says, a male oral, someone that did not have a bris, that doesn't circumcise his flesh. You see, it says zachar. It's the place that determines if he's a male or a female. Okay. So he has another source to know what is supposed to be circumcised. Tana Rabbanan, it was taught in a brayso kaisim tefillin al gabiyor behimatayrav, al gabiyor chayatayrav, al gabiyor nevelo treifas shalahem. This is very interesting. Tefillin could be written on kosher animal hide, but it doesn't mean that the animal needs to be shechted. Even if the animal dies, and it would not be kosher meat, but because the species is kosher, very interesting. So even if the species is kosher, that's good enough. You use the hair of these animals to tie it up, and you also sew it with the gidin, with the sinews of these animals. That's halach l'meishem Sinai. אבל אין קייסן ליל גבי אור בהימה טמאה וליל גבי אור חיה טמאה ואין צורך לימר על גבי אור נבלה טרפה שלה ואין הכרוחס בשר ואין תפרס בגידה. A non-kosher animal cannot be used for tefillin, the hide of the non-kosher animal. And you can't use a non-shechted non-kosher animal you can't use it even if it is shechted. That's funny. But and you also can't use the hair or the sinews of the non-kosher animal, non-kosher species animal, to tie it up. V'zu shol by Tusi Achadas Rabbi Yeshua Garsi. I don't know why is it called Rabbi Yeshua Garsi? Is that a special different Rabbi Yeshua? Is there any comment that you have on Rabbi Yeshua Garsi? Is this the regular Rabbi Yeshua? I know Rabbi Yeshua would do debating often, like Rabbi Vo in the Gemara times, Rabbi Yeshua in the Talmudic times, in the Mishnaic times, rather. So anyway, this Baitusi asks Rabbi Yeshua, he asks him this question, Rabbi Yeshua Garsi. Baitusi are followers of Tzaddik and Baitus, the Baithusians. So they don't believe in the rabbinic tradition. How do you know that he can't write the tefillin on a non-kosher animal? He says, it says in the Torah that it says that the word of the law of God should be in your mouth, which means that you write it on something that's permissible to put in your mouth, which is kosher animals. Elamayata asks if that's the case. This Baitusi maybe went to yeshiva. Al gabir nevelo treifa sal yikasvu. So why can you write it on a nevelo treifa? You can't put that in your mouth. It wasn't shechted properly. Doesn't have the plumba. Right? How could you put it on that hide? Amalei emshalach mashal. He says, I'll give you an example. What is that? You see that abbreviation there? What is it similar to? There's two people. It's a very interesting example. There's two people that are deserving of capital punishment. Echad hargu melech v'echad hargu aspeklita. One of them was killed by the king. One of them was killed by the executioner. Which one was better? The one that the king himself killed. He must be more special. So here he's comparing this to the animal that died. One animal died by the sheikhet. The other one died by God. Which one is better? The one that died by God is better. So therefore, that's the one that you use you can use that for the tefillin. It says, Elamayati yoichlu. So the Baitusi says, so why don't you eat that if it's really better? says Amarle. He says a Torah Amarle leichel kol nevela v'atam yeichel. Because the Torah says not to. There must be something deeper in this. Must be telling him that the kosher laws doesn't have the logic. It's because God said logically maybe we should be able to eat it, but God said that you don't. Amalei, he says kalas. He says excellent. Kalas is yeah, excellent. Good job. Bravo. Okay. We have a Mishnah, and this sort of brings us into a topic in Hilchos Shabbos, which is very important. It's about medicine on Shabbos. This is just an introduction into that, but it goes on. The next Mishnah is more significant. Einosin Hilmi b'Shabbos. You can't make a certain type of a brine, which is salt and water. Aval oisehu es mei melach, but you can make salt water. B'teivu ben pitin, you can dip your bread into this salt water. And then you can put that, and you can you can put it into a stew once it's any sort of dish, the salt water. Rabbi Yosi says, "V'leihu hilmi bein meruba bein muad." Hilmi is salt water. Salt water is salt water. Hilmi is just a large amount of salt water, and salt water is just a small amount of salt water. So what's going on over here? If you're not allowed to do it, then why are you allowed to do a small amount? These are the way that you can make salt water. You can add oil either into the water first or into the salt. That way it lessens the power of the salt water of the way that it would do to preserve. One of the issues of preserving on Shabbos is that you don't want to do this sort of preparation to preserve food for after Shabbos. You're not supposed to be preserving food, pickling things on Shabbos, that it should be preserved for after Shabbos. Some say it's like tanning. It's associated with tanning. Putting salt on foods. Yeah, exactly what the, go ahead.
Isn't putting it in brine also a form of cooking?
Yeah, but cooking wouldn't be the prohibition unless there was heat. Unless there was heat. Remember we said washing off with warm water the salted meats or fish, I think. We said that little bit of heat was enough to cook it because it was already cured I think the cooking would only have to do with heat. Now we're talking about just preserving it, and that's an issue. It has to either tanning or it has to do with preparing things for after Shabbos. My kamar, what's the issue over here? Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel Hachi kamar. Einosin mei melach meruben, avleisin mei melach muaten. What it means is you can't make a lot, but you're allowed to make a little. Amar Rabbi Yosi, the Gemara says. Halayhu hilmi bein merub bein mutin. It's the same thing. Now the Gemara has a question. A lot and a little. See, what's happening here is if you take just the first phrase of Rabbi Yosi, what's the difference if it's a lot or a little? That's Rabbi Yosi's first comment in the Mishnah. The Mishnah says you're not allowed to make a hilmi, but you're allowed to make mei melach. Rabbi Yosi says, but hilmi is a lot and mei melach is a little. So what's the difference? Now, we have two ways of viewing Rabbi Yosi. Does he say that everything should be permissible, or is he saying everything should be prohibited? He's definitely making a comparison between them, but which way is he going? Ibailu, Rabbi Yosi lesser or lahater? Is Rabbi Yosi being strict or is he being lenient? Is he allowing it? Rabbi Yehuda lahater. He's being lenient. He's saying you should even be allowed to make hilmi. Midlike Tani, Rabbi Yosi Yisrael also would have said. Rabbi Yosi says that it's forbidden. Amalei Rabba says 1 second. He didn't look at the whole phrase. If you look a little further, it's very clear that Rabbi Yosi is being strict. If you look further, he says, the following is the permissible mei melach, michlal de Rabbi Yosi lesser. Must be that to do it in a normal way, not to add the oil into the Rabbi Yossi's suggestion afterwards is you add the oil into the salt before you mix the salt with the water, or you add the oil into the water, which is going to make the mixture not as good. It won't mix as well, and it won't have the same strength. So Rabbi Yossi says you have to do that. That means that originally even a small amount of plain salt water would be forbidden, according to Rabbi Yossi. Elam Rabba lesser, v'chinam Rabbi Yochanan lesser. Rabbi says that Rabbi Yossi is being strict. And Rabbi Yochanan also says that Rabbi Yossi is being strict. We have a brisa that says like this. You're not allowed to make a lot of salt water to pickle things inside a gistra. A gistra is a broken jug, and I don't know why that's the example that's being used. Gistra is usually translated as a shard. You pickle things in shards? I didn't know that. Anyway, he says you can't do a large amount that's used for pickling, but you can make a little amount. And you can dip your bread into that little bit of salt water. And you can put into the stew. Rabbi Yossi, the dish. See, the brises give me more elaborate details of the discussion. Here, Rabbi Yossi says, because one's a lot and one's a little, so a lot is forbidden and a little is permissible. People are going to say that if you do a lot of work on Shabbos, that's forbidden, but a little bit of work is not so not so gefährlich. That's what people are going to say. It's allowed. A little bit is allowed. Ella elu velu asurin ein. Rather, everything is forbidden. See, that's a proof to Rabbi and Rabbi Yochanan. Velu ein melach hamatarm. So, what are you allowed to do? What you're allowed to do is nice and shemenu melach. Put the oil and the salt. Shemenu mayim, or the water, the oil in the water. Actually, but you don't mix the water into the salt into the water directly. Either you have the oil first in the water, or you have the oil first in the salt. Okay, the siman for the following gemaras are Azan Tznain ve'esrig. Tani Rabbi Yehuda bar Chaviva. Rabbi Yehuda bar Chaviva says that Chaviva was a girl's name. We usually don't use the girl's name in the Gemara. It must be a boy's name. Can't make very strong salt water. How strong is strong? So strong that the egg floats in it. The eggs normally don't float in the water. They put them in, they fall to the bottom of the pot. But if there's salt in it, it may float. Depends how much salt. V'kama, how much salt is that? Amar Rabbi, trade tilsi milcha with tilsa maya. 2/3 salt. It's a lot of salt. The ocean, if I remember, it was like 1 part to 100. This is, I don't know what the ratio is in Yam HaMelech, in the Dead Sea. But this is 2/3 salt and 1/3 water. This is a thick brine. So, L'may avdilei, what do you do with there's so much salt? Amra bavo l'muraisa. It's used for a fish brine. Yeah, the Steinsaltz has a discussion about what the word muraisa is. If it's Latin or Greek, he has a discussion about this. Tanu Rabbi Yehuda bar Chaviva, another statement from Rabbi Yehuda bar Chaviva. In Malchun Sneinu Beya b'Shabbos. You can't salt a radish and an egg on Shabbos. And this is because it's preserving it. It's like making it that it should last. Rav Chizki Mishmei Abaya Mertznoin Asur Beya Muteres. Rav Chizki, in the name of Abaya, says that the radish is prohibited, but the egg is permissible. Not sure what the explanation was. Does it have to do with if it grows from the ground? Or if it's considered that it's going to work or it's an improvement?
Is this opinion that you shouldn't put on salt even for flavor and consumption right there?
I'm not sure if that's an issue, just for flavor. I think it has to do with preserving. Let me see if he says here something. It is permitted, he quotes the halacha, it is permitted to salt eggs on Shabbos. One may not salt several radishes together. However, it is permitted to dip individual radishes in salt before eating them. So you're allowed to put on salt. The question is if you're allowed to do this as a way of preserving them. So, Amar Rav Nachman, Meireish, Rav Nachman says originally, have a malchana pugla. I used to salt pugla. Pugla means a tuber, a bulge. It means a radish. That's the bulge of the radish. Amina afsidika mafsidna. I'm making it worse. I'm not improving it. This is not something good for it because when you salt it, it loses the sharpness. Damar Shmuel pugla charfi mali, because Shmuel says that sharp radishes are healthy. There was a custom. I don't see it so much. There was a custom Friday night to eat the black radish. Anyone remember that? You know, there's a black radish. It's like the Hungarians, I think, would eat it. Would do this Friday night. It says a sharp radish is healthy. I'm putting salt in it. I'm making it worse. It's not an improvement here. I'm not the. Kimin the shemana laha the chiyasa ula v'amar b'marav malchi kishri mimlach loy malachna tvuli vade matbilna. When I heard what Ula said, when Ula came, he said that in Israel they salt piles and piles of radishes. So even though it's not as sharp anymore, but it still is preserving it. So I don't do that anymore. However, I dip it into salt water and I eat it then. Oh, there's the black radish. Tana Rabbi Yehuda bar Chaviva. Rabbi Yehuda bar Chaviva taught esrog, tznain, ubeya. An esrog, right? A radish, a citron, a radish, and an egg. If not for the outer peel, the only thing I can think of with this is the egg. The egg, the yolk is harder to digest, and the outer peel, the outer part, the white, that is easier to digest, easier to swallow at least. It says that it would be stuck in the stomach. So the white helps the yellow, the yolk, become digested. Same with the esrog. If not for the outer peel, that's what he's saying. The outer peel helps you digest the inside. And also with the radish. I didn't know radish has outer peel. It has like this, just the color. It's hardly a peel. It must be a different sort of radish. I don't know. Kiyasar Ravdimi Amar. Ravdimi came, he said, Me'olam le'tava gavra b'yama d'Sidon. He said, no one ever drowned in the Dead Sea. Amar Rav Yosef says, Hafucha Sidon, v'afucha mila. Sidon was turned over, and this guy's statement should also be turned over. What is he saying? Gavru d'le'tava kshura tava? Does he mean that a person didn't drown, but beams other things did drown or did sink in the Dead Sea? Amalei Abaya says to Rabbi Yosef, why you're being so harsh on him? Laimi bayikama. He just meant even a person didn't drown. Laimi bayik shura dafil b'chol meimes shabaylim leitava. Beams never sink; they're always floating in the water, even in other seas. Saying, but even a human that does drown, Hashem should protect us in other seas, but in the Dead Sea, people don't drown. Okay.
Rabbi,
Yeah.
If we're not talking about the Dead Sea, but we're talking about Sodom, a human that doesn't drown, that might drown, will drown. But remember, Lot's wife, who turned into salt, wouldn't drown because she's all salt. She's salt. Side comment, never mind.
What is that a picture of behind you? What is that?
That's Lot running with his daughters. His wife turned around, she turned to salt.
Okay.
And the dumb is overturned.
I see. Uh-huh. I didn't recognize the angels. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So, Lamai Nafkamina. What's the difference about this with this if the salt? What's the difference? He says Kihad the Ravin. It's regarding this statement of Ravin. He was following Rabbi Yirmiyah on the river of Sidon, of the river of the Dead Sea, the bank. Okay, we're getting into this medicine discussion. There's a problem of taking medicine on Shabbos. Of course, if it's life and death, of course that's allowed. Life and death overrules everything in the Torah. But just about, except for the three big sins. But we're talking about medicine for something that just has an ailment. You know, something that bothers him is arthritis, or things that people live with, and whatever. You know, a headache, something. The things that people walk around with. So those things, you're not supposed to take medicine on Shabbos. Now, here he's asking, am I allowed to take the salt water on Shabbos from the Sea of Sidon and to use it? I think he was going to use it in his eye. From the following Gemara, that's what it seems like. It would be like it sounds like it's going to burn. But what are they saline, these solutions, and maybe that could be medicinal. Amalei Shapridam, he says, yeah, you're allowed to. He says, but what about to put it in the eye itself, to open the eye and close it? Memetz is to squeeze the eye closed, and miftach is to open the eye. Am I allowed to do that? That's clearly you're doing medicine there. Amalei Azulei Shamati. He says, I don't know if that's, I never heard about that, about using the salt water in the eye itself. But I did hear something similar. Rab Zera says, Zimne and Amalei Mishmei Rav Masna, Zimne Amalei Mishmei Marokva. He said it sometimes in the name of Rav Masna, and sometimes he said it in the name of Marokva. And he said it both in the name of, or they both said it rather, they both said it in the name of Avua de Shmuel, that's Shmuel's father. We don't have him often in the Gemara, although we've had him. And Levi. Levi was that student of Rabbi. Probably the father of Yeshua ben Levi. He says, Chadam yayin b'teicha ayin aser, al gava yayin mutter. One said that you're not allowed to put wine in the eye. We're talking about medicine here. And putting wine in the eye is medicinal, but you're allowed to put it on top of the eye. One says that I don't know if you remember, reik tafel was a detergent that was used to clean a blood stain. But what it was if someone didn't eat the whole night, then in the morning, before he tasted anything, before he spoke, I think also, he would spit. So that spit is very strong, and that was used as a detergent. It's called reik tafel. So apparently, there's some healing properties in that also. So maybe that's what I remember with Reb Meir. I mean, the woman that she was kicked out of her house unless she spits in Reb Meir's eye. Remember, so Reb Meir says, "I have an eye ailment. Can anyone here that could spit in my eye?" And she volunteers. So he says this is medicinal, and this he can't even go on top of the eye. Okay, so he does hear something that there is some sort of other halacha about eyes, that wine cannot go in, and reik tafel can't even go on top. Now, we heard this in the name of two people who said what? Testayim davua de Shmuel hu damar yayin b'teich ayin aser, and al gav ha'ayin mutter. Let it be settled that we don't know who said what. One was said by Levi, one was said by Avua de Shmuel. Let it be settled that Avua de Shmuel is the one that said the wine distinction if it's on the eye or in the eye. Why? Midam or Shmuel, because we have a statement from Shmuel, his son. A person can put his bread in the wine, and he can put the bread on his eye on Shabbos. The Shmuel Miman, who told Shmuel that? Lav the Shmuel Me'avua. It must be he heard it from his father. So it must be that his father was the one that gave the wine halacha, because we have Shmuel saying that over. So it's in the family. He heard it from his father. The Gemara says, this is not going to work. According to your logic, Shmuel also said the other halacha that says that this type of spit is not allowed to even go on top of the eye. The Shmuel Miman, who did he hear it from? If you say that he heard that from his father as well, Levi didn't say anything here. Levi, we attributed to Levi one of these halachas. And meanwhile, Shmuel is repeating both of them. And he claimed that it's from his father. So Levi didn't say anything. We're left without an answer. He must have heard one from Levi. He heard one from his father. We don't know which one is from his father, which one is from Levi. We're left with the same problem that we had before. Who said what? Amar Mar Ukva Mar Shmuel. Mar Ukva said in the name of Shmuel. Now Mar Ukva was the Av Bezdin. Shmuel was the sage, but Mar Ukva was Av Bezdin. We had that on Daf Nun Hey. In Daf Nun Hey, someone claimed to Shmuel that you're not listening to this lady, and he said, yes, I'm not going to get in trouble for it. The one in charge is going to get in trouble for it. Mar Ukva. Anyway, Mar Ukva would say over teachings also from Shmuel. He says, Sheira Adam Kilayrin me Erev Shabbos. A person can soak an eye salve. Kilayrin is an eye salve. An Erev Shabbos. I guess it was put on some sort of cloth or something. But nice and al gav einav b'Shabbos, and then he can lay it on top of his eye on Shabbos. It's not a problem. Now, why is he allowed to do that? It looks like it's medicinal. Maybe because it's just an eye wash, and it's not really medicinal. Bar Levi havikoi kamid Mar Ukva. Bar Levi was in front of Mar Ukva, and Chazi have a mayetzu pasach. He saw. I don't know if Mar Ukva saw Bar Levi. Bar Levi saw Mar Ukva. He saw that he was opening and closing his eye under this eye salve. That means he's letting it into the actual eye. Amalei, Kule Havadi Leshara Mashmol. Mashmol never allowed that. He just allowed you to put it on top. But now you're opening and closing your eye. That's already medicinal. Shalach le Rav Yanai le Mar Ukva. Rav Yanai sent to Mar Ukva, Lishader lon mar mihanach kilarin de Mar Shmuel. Can you get us some of Shmuel's eye salve? Shmuel was a doctor. And I guess he made these herbal salves. And Mar Ukva had some. So Shalach le sends back to Rabbi Yanai, I'll actually send you, just so you don't say that I'm a miser. However, Shmuel said that you don't really need it. He says, it's better just a drop of water on your hands. It doesn't mean on the eye. No, a drop of water on your eyes in the morning and wash your hands in the evening. That's better than all the salves in the world. This is very interesting, the hand washing things. Yeah. Tanya Namihachi. It was also taught There's a discussion with the masks today about how important they are and all of that. But one of the importances is that it stops you from touching your mouth. That's one of the things that it does. So, started in a brisa, Amar Rabbi Moina Mishum Rabbi Yehuda Tipas Tzenin Shachris Chitzas Yadayim Raglayim Arvis Mikol Kiloin Sheba'olam. We also have a brisa that Rabbi Moina said that. Rabbi Moina must have been a Tana. We have Shmuel that says it, and we have Rabbi Moina that says it. Hu Ya'imer, he used to say. Who's the he used to say? I guess Rabbi Moina. Yad la'ayin tikatis. If a hand that touches the eye, the hand should be cut off. That means the hand should not be touching the eye. Yad l'chaitim tikatit. A hand to the nose should be cut off. Yad l'peh tikatit. A hand to the mouth, the hand should be cut off. Yad la'oizen tikatit. A hand to the ear. That's an interesting one for us. The other ones where you understand. Yad l'chasuda tikatit. A hand to a wound. Okay, that would be an obvious one. The germs. Yad la'ama tikatit. A hand to the private area. The hand should be cut off. This we said wasn't because of germs. This we said was because it could arouse a person and then it could become a carry. That's what we learned in Nida. Yad l'piyat basti katis. The hand to the rectum should be cut off. This is because it could affect the hemorrhoids and things. Yad l'gigas tikatis. A hand that goes into a beer barrel. It affects the fermentation. Should be cut off. Yad misama. A hand to the eye. What does it do? It causes blindness. Yad machreshes. A hand to the ear causes deafness. I guess it's the ear infection. Usually we didn't imagine the ear infection came from like that. I don't know what ear infections come from, but Yad myla polypus. This is a hand to the mouth or to the nose, causes polyps, causes growths to grow. Very interesting that they have that word there. Okay, now Rashi says that it actually causes, he doesn't translate as polyps. He says that it causes bad breath. Okay. Tanya Reb Nassan started in a brisa. Reb Nassan says, "Bas chayrin hizu umakbedes ad shirchet yadav gimel pamim." Okay, I need help from the Kabbalists in the group. Apparently, there's a demon whose name is Bas chayrin, and it hangs around the hands until they're washed in the morning, and it's until it's washed 3 times. That's its name, Bas chayrin. I don't know why it's called Bas chayrin, but
it's a free agent, like all the free agents in the picture.
So it causes harm to the Amar Rabbi Yechanan Puch Maver Bas Melach. Puch is some sort of eyeshadow. This could take away the demon that's called Bas Melach. And Paisika Sadima Omar Besayer Afapam. It stops the tears if you put on the eyeshadow, and it causes the eyelashes to grow. Okay. Tanya Namihachi was also taught in a brisa. Rabbi Yisrael Puch Maver Bas Melach Upeisik Hasadim Amar B'Seim B'Afapayim. Same statement, but we have it from Rabbi Yisrael that this eyeshadow removes this sort of demon called Bas Melach, and it stops the tears and causes the eyelashes to grow. But Amar Marukva Amar Shmuel. Marukva says the name of Shmuel. Allen im b'mishum refuah. leaves don't work. If you put a whole leaf on the eye, it's nothing. It doesn't heal. Now, I don't know if Rashi says it's a specific type of leaf. So, not just general herbs. Rabbi Yosef, Kusbarta ein b'mishum refuah. Rabbi Yosef says that coriander is not considered a medicine. It doesn't do anything. Rav Sheshes says, Kishas ein b'mishum refuah. I think all of this is talking about the eyes. Hops is not considered a remedy. It doesn't do anything. And Rabbi Yosef says, Kusbarta fili didi kashali. He says that coriander is so bad for the eye. Rabbi Yosef says, even me, that I'm blind, it even hurts me. So that means it doesn't even, not only doesn't it work, but it's harmful. And even, not only is it harmful, but even for someone that's blind, it's harmful. Rav Sheshes, Gargira, I feel the Mali. Rav Sheshes was also blind. And he says that Gargira, which Steinfeld translate as arugula, that lettuce, that's a lettuce. It has like a horseradishy taste. So that's helpful. That's healing. Marukva says in the name of Shmuel that all types of hops are permissible on Shabbos because they don't do it's not considered medicine, except for truza, which is one type of hop. And that actually does work. A person would only eat that for medicine. I didn't know they actually ate the hops. Usually the hops were put in as a preservative for flavor, right? It preserves the beer, I think. Amrav Chizda Shrika Tavya Shari V'Pui Be'Yasser. Okay, this Gemara has such strange differences in the translation. Taisvis translates it. Shrika Tavya is water that comes out of a melon juice. And it's drunk as a laxative. And he says that's allowed. He's saying that you're allowed to filter it on Shabbos because the filtering doesn't do anything, because you could drink it even before you filtered it. Pipu Ebeyi is something from the eggs. That is only eaten if it's filtered. So that's why you're not allowed to filter it on Shabbos. That's Taisus Pshat. Rashi's Pshat is you're putting this oil and eggs on top of some sort of roasted meat when it's hot. And I don't know if the issue is cooking here or he's preserving it. I don't know. It's like I'm not sure what Rashi means. The Besu de Zeiri Avdele Lechia Barashi V'Layachal. Zeiri's wife made it for Chia Barashi, and Chia Barashi didn't eat it. Amalei, so Zeiri's wife said, L'Rabba Chavdi Leva'achal. To your teacher, I made it and he ate it. Vat Layachalt, and you're not going to eat it. Zeiri Letamei, so Zeiri has his reasoning for eating. This is very interesting. Zeiri says that a person is allowed to put wine or water into a strainer on Shabbos. And the reason is because the wine you could drink before, there's some dregs in the wine, but it doesn't matter, you can drink it with it. And so therefore, the fact that some things are coming out doesn't do anything. This is the reason why we use water filters on Shabbos, because you can technically drink the water without filtering it. Maybe you don't like the flavor or whatever, but it's drinkable. So therefore, it's not considered straining. on Shabbos when you put it through the filter, because you could drink it without the filtering. It's strange to us because that's not the way separating worked. If you can do it without, I mean, I can't take the seeds out of the watermelon, all this. Well, technically, I guess you can swallow them. Okay, anyway. Alma kiven de mishtasi, hachi lav midi kavod, hachanam kiven de mesach lachi lav midi kavod. Okay, what's he saying? Depends which pshat you go with. If you go with Taisus pshat, what he's saying is, since you can eat it as is, you can drink the melon juice as is, so then it's fine. Just like the water and the wine. According to the other pshat is, I guess that's the way you would eat it. So therefore, it's not considered whatever the problem was, misaken. Okay, Amar Marukva, Mishanag for Yada Iragli Timsa V'yain V'enacheshish. Marukva says that someone that bangs his hand or his foot, apparently, I think it's bleeding, so he's allowed to put it into wine to stop the bleeding. Ibailu Chalamai, what about vinegar? If he wants to use vinegar to stop the bleeding. Amar Rav Hillel Ravashi. Rav Hillel says to Ravashi, Ki Avina Bei Rav Kana, when I was by Rav Kana, Amri Chalaloi, he said, no, vinegar you can't use. Amar Rava. Rava says, Vahani b'nei Mechuzah. Those people from Mechuzah, Rava lived in Mechuzah. Given the Mefanki, because they're so finicky, they're so particular. Afilu Chamra, so delicate. Even wine, Nami Masalo, that will even heal these their skin. Their skin is so delicate. Okay, let's leave it over here today.